Okay, so I'm Troy Raruka. I'm from Temecula, California, and I'm a business student. So this is pretty much the reason for this informational interview. What the informational interview consists of, it's just like a conversation basically about like the domain of interest that you want to pursue, and I want to be in like an aviation field. So either specifically, I'm thinking a pilot, but if somehow that doesn't work, I definitely want to be in the aviation industry, so possibly like aviation management. So when I talked to Ethan, he said you have a pretty significant role as CEO of Reno International Airport. I was like, that'd be a really good person to talk to. So
Sure.
I kind of have
Absolutely.
some questions lined up for you.
Okay.
All right.
Happy to do it.
Yeah, thank you again for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay, so
You betcha.
how'd you get started in this line of work?
I went to school for airport management. I decided when I was in high school that I wanted to work in an airport. And after some time in the U.S. Army, I went to an aviation school, university, and got a degree in aviation business administration.
Nice.
And got the first job I could find coming out of college, and it was entry level airport operations job, running a small airport in Arizona, just kind of the things that you do to make a place like that run, whether it's on the airfield or, out with passengers or tenants or any part of the airport experience, just kind of, and worked my way up from there.
Wow. Yeah,
Until,
where was that airport at?
Yuma, Arizona.
Oh,
So
cool.
way down south, right on the border of California and Mexico, small airport with service to Phoenix. Back then it was Phoenix and LAX, but Phoenix right now on American Airlines. So, in a small airport, like a small company, you do everything. And that's the best way to learn, is to have to basically learn all the jobs and the ways that an airport runs. And it's a small team of people. And I worked there for 6 years and worked my way up at that airport, and then moved for a bigger role in Oregon, and moved 2 more times after that, which is what got me here to Reno.
Wow. So I saw your LinkedIn. You went to Embry-Riddle.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a super cool school. I have a good friend that goes there. He's I think aeronautical engineering. I mean, that's probably the
Yep.
main one there. Why'd you choose that
Yeah.
school?
I wanted the best education in aviation management that
Yeah.
was out there, and Embry-Riddle is known for its outstanding focus in aeronautical. Whether it's aviation management, safety, engineering. Obviously, learning to fly is a huge part of their curriculum.
Yeah.
So that really, and in the 90s, there weren't that many universities with aviation programs. There's a lot more now.
Right.
Which is fantastic, but there wasn't as many to choose from. So it was really kind of easy for me. They were talking to me when I was in high school, and so we just kept the conversation going. And then as soon as I was done with the military, I took a year at the University of Oregon to get the kind of basic courses out of the way that you could take anywhere, and they were certainly cheaper going to an in-state school
Yeah.
than a private university, which was not cheap. And I was paying for it all on my own. My parents were working class, couldn't really help me. So
Wow. Yeah.
it was a great investment.
Yeah,
I
that
was so
school's pretty
happy, and
expensive. I've looked a great deal into that.
it still is.
Yeah.
We actually, Ethan and I and his mom went and looked at the Daytona Beach campus.
Oh,
And
really? Yeah. So I was looking. I mean, I would probably end up going to the Prescott one, but
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
where I went. Yeah.
but if anything, I feel like I'd kind of want to be next to the beach because I grew up in Temecula. If you have any idea where that's at, so I mean, 40
Yeah,
minutes from the
absolutely.
beach. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I was born in Torrance, California. If you've ever heard of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
really close
My
to the beach.
parents, my parents are retired in Oceanside now,
Oh,
so
nice.
not
Yeah.
that far from Temecula.
Yeah, I've surfed there countless times. It's like
Yeah.
the closest beach to us.
It's
Um,
a nice area, beautiful out there.
yeah. So going into Embry. Okay, so let's start. You went into the military.
Yeah,
Did you go straight out of high school?
I did. I enlisted in the Army between my junior and senior years of high school.
Uh
And
huh.
then, like 5 days after high school graduation, got on a bus and headed off to the Army.
Wow.
And back then, the Army offered a lot of money for college, called the Army College Fund. And that's what really attracted me. That's how I was going to pay my way through college.
Yeah.
And I did. So was really always wanted to join the military anyways. I probably would have done that no matter what career field I would have joined, was to go spend some time in the Army, Navy, or Air Force, one of them. So Army it was.
Yeah. Did you ever want to fly?
No. I've had a career in aviation, and I've never been focused on being a pilot. I've spent plenty of time in small aircraft. My second job was with the Oregon Department of Aviation, and I managed 30 airports all over the state of Oregon.
Wow.
And the Department of Aviation had a pilot and an aircraft, and they flew me to all kinds of different small airports around the state. Quickest and easiest way to go, check on the facilities that we owned and operated, and my role was to manage those.
Wow.
So I enjoyed lots of time in small airplanes. When I was going to Embry-Riddle, I'd say 90% of my fraternity brothers were learning to be pilots.
Yeah, I
So I
bet.
would go up with them all the time, because they're flying every day.
Yeah.
So, we go fly around Sedona or up to the Grand Canyon or whatever, and sometimes I'm doing homework, while I'm in the right seat or in the back, and a couple of them are up front.
Yeah, they just gotta log
But it was
hours
never for
too.
me. They were logging hours, and I was just enjoying the ride. I was always fascinated with the airport part. That's really has always been my passion
Uh
of
huh.
the connection, between aircraft and automobiles, and the terminal facilities and flight schools, and maintaining aircraft and the airspace that you have to protect as an airport owner
Yeah.
to keep it safe out there. So all of that is what was fascinating to me, and that has been my career.
Wow, that's super fascinating. Yeah, currently I'm actually getting my private pilot's license, and
Good for
yes,
you.
yeah. So I'm set to finish it in winter break because I wasn't able to finish it at the end of August because school started.
Okay.
It just became too scrunched. But yeah, that's my whole world too. I love everything about aviation. So
Well, when my friends were graduating in the mid '90s from college, aviation was not a strong field like it is today, and many of them couldn't find jobs as pilots. They were waiting tables while they did flight instruction
yeah,
for
yeah,
years, and all of those guys are now high-time captains,
yeah. I bet.
making crazy money for the legacy airlines.
Yeah,
Because now, of course, there's a shortage. There's thousands of pilots retiring every month when they hit
yeah.
age 65.
So are you kind of in
And
charge of
so,
those operations of I know there's a pilot shortage, but it's mainly a captain shortage, correct?
it's honestly all the above, because captains retire and the first officers move into those roles. And so then now you have a missing piece at the FO. And the big airlines are pulling from the smaller airlines, and so it just kind of is like a waterfall effect where all of a sudden everybody needs pilots,
Right.
or pilots, and so the unions are getting more money for them than ever because it's a scarce resource. You can't just fix the supply chain quickly to train pilots, right? Look how long
Yeah,
it's taking you
1,500
to train
hours.
private.
Yeah,
And now if you want to go, get your CFI, CFII or something, it's ultimately 1,500 hours to get into a commercial job. And that's
absolutely,
not going to change. And it just takes time. And
absolutely.
so it's a great field to get into. There's more demand than there is pilots. And with drones coming, and, four-person aerial vehicles that are still going to require a pilot, built by Honda or Toyota or somebody, I think the demand for pilots is going to be out there for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, I can only hope. I mean, people are never going to trust like a robot to take over a plane, so I feel like it's not going
We don't like
anywhere.
driverless cars, much less
Yeah.
a drone that doesn't have a pilot in it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there may be some people that would be comfortable for that, but not most.
Uh-huh.
Not most people.
Yeah, so you talked about your military. I think I'm gonna join. Kind of my plan right now is to finish out school and then go into the Air Force Reserves after college. So it's
Yeah,
kind of
great
my
plan.
plan.
Great plan. You know,
Yeah,
the military offers so many benefits, more
absolutely.
now than ever, and they will pay for you to become a commercial pilot or a military pilot,
That's the
which then
goal.
transitions directly. They'll help pay for your education if you want a graduate degree or something. And of course, you're getting paid to be in the military. And if you have a college degree, then you're an officer when you
Absolutely.
get through the training, which is a much better life in the military. So,
Yep.
for somebody like yourself, it's a phenomenal opportunity with just rich benefits
Yeah.
that will benefit you, honestly, the rest of your life.
Yeah, no, so I've talked to a great deal of people that kind of did the same thing. It kind of inspired me to do
Yeah.
that. And just the benefits are kind of unreal. It's,
Yeah.
you can stay in
You can't go
doing,
wrong.
being a reservist or National Guard and be
Mhm.
a commercial pilot at the same time. So
Many do.
do you work with
Many do.
airlines like personally? Like, do you know like if pilots like do kind of manage with their time being in the military?
I've known many pilots that um, even when we were in Portland,
Uh-huh.
there was a F-15 fighter wing
Sick.
that was stationed Oregon Air National Guard F-15Es, and they had an active mission over the Pacific from basically the Gulf of Alaska down to Fresno was their patrol area, F-15Es. Many of those guys were commercial pilots also, and so I'd be
Wow.
talking with them, and they're a United pilot or a Delta pilot, but also an F-15 fighter pilot.
Yeah.
Not uncommon at all. The airline's going to work with you, and they would come fly one weekend a month, or when you're an airline pilot, you get a lot of time off anyways. You're on your trips, and
Yeah.
so some of them would fly for the guard in between. So they would have two career paths. They would be a high-ranking officer, a lieutenant colonel or a colonel, and flying for a legacy airline. I knew many that did that.
Awesome.
So it's not uncommon at all.
Yeah, that's inspiring.
Yeah, you can definitely do it. And then you're double dipping. I mean, you have the military income and military benefits, and an airline pilot income, and the benefits that come with being part of a large company with thousands of employees and all of that, and always a great career path. If that's
Yeah.
something that is appealing, it can be a great career path.
Yeah, that's the goal. I'm hoping to kind of just get school paid off along with flight school because flight school is
Yeah,
a big hefty
I
amount as
know.
well. Yeah.
It's a good investment, though. It's a good
Yeah, I'm
investment.
hoping so. But, all right. So if you could give me any type of like tips, if you were a college student, what would you do differently to kind of get like if you were in my shoes, what would you do? Or even how would you prepare for like a job like yours?
If I could do something different, um, take advantage of the time that you have now while you're in college. If you're going to work any sort of second job, go to the airport and see if you can find anything with an airline, a ground support provider, ground handler, anything in the aviation ecosystem, if you will,
Yeah.
that gets you some resume material that's in the business. Now, the fact that you're getting your private pilots is already a great idea. Work with a flight school. Honestly, anything. I
Yeah.
didn't do that. I was working at a hotel resort as assistant chef. So I was a great cook. That didn't help me run the airport.
Yeah.
Now at the end of the day, it didn't hold me back at all. But in terms of competing with other people, if you can show, yeah, my private pilot's license, I'm working towards my bachelor's degree, and oh, by the way, I'm working, with a flight school or
Yeah.
United Airlines in their ticketing or ground handling, anybody. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter the brand. It's just industry experience is a huge advantage when you're really entering the workforce, trying to find a perfect thing for you, or you're trying to compete to get on with one of the major carriers, and a lot of them have their own pilot development programs now because the shortage has been so acute. A lot of the legacies have stood up academies and whatnot to get pilots into the system that are then contractually bound to their airline. You got to compete to get into programs like that.
Yeah.
You're going to compete better if you've got a resume that's got some aviation stuff in it.
Yeah, I really like that. So, yeah, so those are like my kind of exact thoughts as well. And you kind of just like gave me super like excitement about it because obviously in your place, like you have experience showing that it is beneficial. So I was thinking, I mean, after pledgeship, obviously I'm done now. That took up a lot of time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
going into, I mean, the only hassle is it's like 20 minutes away, but I mean, it's not too bad just to the airport. I'm thinking of just trying to get a job at like the front desk of like the flight school just so I could possibly
Sure.
get more hours. So just like anything, even you said like just anything in the industry, like that's good to hear.
Doesn't really matter what it is.
Yeah.
Just being in a business is really advantageous. And if you're going out still flying anyways, then maybe there's a way to find a job where, before or after your shift, you're out there logging hours, doing your thing. So
Yeah.
it's worth exploring for sure.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Ooh, no, I would not say you kind of already answered that. What type of like, if you were to look to kind of get into your position, what type of entry level job titles would you like get into? Like besides the step that I would get into, like just any kind of job at the airport. Like what's kind of the step to get into management operations of an airport?
The most direct path is in airport operations is basically the career field that would be easily recognizable. And so an entry level job, typically those are called airport operations officers, airport operations specialists. And really what you do is, it depends on the size of the airport again, but it could be very specific. If you go to Salt Lake or Denver or something, you might be working as an entry level, on the airfield. And that's the only place you work, or in the terminal building.
Yeah.
You only work in the terminal building. A lot of airports are cross-pollinating now, and training people to drive around an airfield, know how to talk to the tower, issue NOTAMs, airfield inspections. And, airports are heavily regulated by the FAA. There's lots of rules that we have to follow every minute of every day.
Yeah.
And so you have to have trained people out there, always surveying the operating environment and make sure it's safe, it complies with regulations. So those are entry-level jobs that you'll see advertised, on websites for the airport or on industry websites. Typically, you're going to learn the basics of operating a terminal building, and line management or checkpoint functions, with working with a TSA or even the land site, managing the vehicles out front, or your parking garages, your elevated roadways. Things happen everywhere in an airport environment. And as a customer, when it's all jammed up and you can't even get to the curb, or you're trying to figure out where to go, or you get in the building and it's a sea of people, or then you get out to the gate, you can see the busy operating airfield. All of that is owned and operated by the airport, and you work with federal partners, whether it's TSA or Customs and Border Protection or the airlines themselves.
Yeah.
But there's an airport staff that makes it all work, and that is how you work your way up into airport management, is the most common way. Now, At this level, people sometimes come from the finance side. You had an expertise in finance, and then you got a job at an airport, and eventually you're a CFO or something. You know, it could also come from the commercial side. Airports, the big airports are just malls with airplanes parked next to them. When you walk through, look at the new Salt Lake. It's a mall with all the shopping and eating
Yeah.
and everything, with airplanes outside instead of cars, right? So there's a whole team of people that run that commercial operation, and then sometimes from there you work your way into senior airport, executive leadership. I came from the operations side. Like I said, I worked my way up. I know how to run an airfield. I know how the airspace works. I can run the terminal, the land side. In Portland, where we were before here, I was the director of airport operations. So I lived it every day, and if something's going wrong out there, you're dealing with it.
Yeah.
There's emergencies or security incidents. There's stuff that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Here, I have a police department that reports to me. I have a fire department that reports to me. An airport is its own city. And so unless you're at a general aviation airport, which is where you're probably learning, to fly, and they have a different set of rules, and they don't have police and fire.
Yeah.
They still have people that are running that airport, and they're both great. I love them all. I've managed both. I've managed general aviation airports and large commercial airports. I just love airports, but that's how you get in at the ground level.
Yeah,
it's
I like
great
that.
to have a degree. It helps.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of, I mean, not that it's like an aviation type of degree, but probably just, I mean, I'm in business right now, and I'm still kind of deciding which field I want to join, but it'll probably just end up being like business administration. So
That's a good catch-all. It really is.
Yeah.
And most airports wouldn't require more than that. They're going to teach you the aviation part, the federal regulations, the nuts and bolts of how the airport runs. But if you have a bachelor's degree, in business, you understand a lot of the basics of, budgets drive everything, and, a degree helps you to learn how to problem solve. And we do that constantly. And the problems always change. And they're not problems or challenges, right? But if you're passionate about your work, you always want people to enjoy the airport experience. You want pilots to like it. You want travelers to like it. And so in the airport management world, we're always focused on how do you make your facility as good as you possibly can, keep it safe, keep it modern. How do you get money? And we have construction going on here. We have $1 billion capital redevelopment program underway here.
Wow.
That's a big part of my job. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of construction, right? So you got to keep the airport open and operating while you're working on it. Also difficult to do, but look at what they've done at Salt Lake. I mean, my old boss runs that airport.
Really?
And one of my colleagues runs the whole commercial side, and I know the guy there that runs the operations side, and they're great people. And look at what they've done. I mean, that airport, they tore down the old airport and built a new one right next to it and kept it open while they were doing that. So if you haven't, walked around there, take a look. It's all brand new.
Yeah.
Parking garage, the light rail station, the terminal, it's all brand new.
I think they're still working on it too. I think they're adding
They still are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some type of connection. Because that Southwest walk is a long walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long walk, but I'm sure they're...
It is. It's a big, huge airport.
Yeah.
I know they are building another tunnel that'll make it a little shorter to connect between A and B, I think. And that will probably open up in 2024.
Gotcha. So how do you like working in Reno?
We really like it here. It's a nice place to live. We had not spent time here, but it's high desert. It's sunny 300 days of the year. We get lots of snow. It's obviously a snow skiing outdoor adventure area, and it's just a beautiful place. The airport is a nice size airport. It's quite a bit smaller than where I came from in Portland, but it's also an international airport. We have non-stops to Mexico. We've got 12 airlines going to 20 different cities and 5 million people a year.
Yeah.
So I mean, this job has pushed me to the max to try and do everything that needs to be done here. So it's been a great career move. to find out what you got inside you. And
Yeah.
ultimately, that was why I made this move, because I felt like I could run my own. And I was very close to that in Portland, but I wasn't quite that guy.
Yeah, and this
Here,
job opened
I am
up.
that guy.
Yeah,
And
that's super
luck
impressive.
stops with me. But I really, really enjoy it. It's a nice place to live, and it's been a great job.
Yeah, so my brother actually just had a wedding in Reno. Um,
Oh, cool.
funny enough, yeah. So his
Great place to get married, yeah.
yeah his his so my sister-in-law, her parents, I don't know, they're building a house somewhere outside of Reno, just outside. I forget the city name, but they like stay at Atlantis most of the time, and so they had a bunch of points. So we just went there, and it was a super good time. So we flew into
Yeah, I
Reno.
know the Anna,
What's that?
the owner of Atlantis. I know him,
Oh,
and
right.
his
I was
son,
talking
the
to
whole
Ethan
family
about
live
this.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to Ethan that you've been to like that bistro before and like the
Yeah.
steakhouse. Yeah, so we went.
Steakhouse is phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Best in this town.
Yeah, we went there too, just because they've got a bunch of like points, and yeah,
Yeah,
super good.
that's a great place.
Yeah, so pretty much it. But yeah,
Okay,
I mean that's kind of how long like this kind of runs for. Thank you so much for
you bet.
kind of doing this for me. I feel like it kind of helped a lot, so appreciate it.
Great. Yeah. Good luck to you, Troy. You got a incredibly bright future. Wherever you land in aviation, there's so much opportunity, and the military piece as well. It'll all work itself out. But if I can ever help you in any way, let me know. Please let me know. You got my email address now. Part of my job is to help bring people into this business, especially your generation, because we're all going to retire at some point, and
Right.
somebody's got to replace us. So
Right.
it's a lot of fun, though.
Okay, well, awesome. I appreciate you saying that. Is it good if I add you on LinkedIn?
You bet. Send me
Awesome.
that invite.
I'm just
I'll
getting
connect
I'm
with
just
you.
getting LinkedIn, and I'm trying to get more connections. So you'll see I don't have
It's
many.
a good platform. It's a
Yeah.
good platform for networking and everything, for
Yeah,
job searching. You bet.
for sure.
Good.
All right. Well, you have a great day. Thank you very much.
Hey, you too. Take care, Troy.